My friend took my purse without permission and then lost it.
Give it back.
So I, 21 female, am just about to leave from a vacation with a friend, also 21 female, and I'm honestly still sick over what happened. A few days ago, she took my expensive Zadig and Voltaire purse without asking. This purse was a Christmas gift from my sister and has a huge sentimental value.
Yikes.
I've spent the past few years taking really good care of it because it means so much to me. By the way, this comes from such designer 5185, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And OP says, when she took it, she didn't even tell me. I only found out after the fact that she used it to go to the laundromat and then in the process used my money, which she also didn't ask to take. For context, the purse had $40 in cash and a bunch of quarters, a gift from my sister's best friend's mom, 60 euros in notes, and at least 20 euros in coins. So we're talking over 100 euros total, not to mention the purse itself. And now the purse is gone. She lost it. I was obviously upset, not yelling or blaming her, just crying and saying that I wasn't mad, just hurt. I told her how much that purse meant to me and how hard I've worked to keep it safe for years. Instead of apologizing, she got huffy with me, rolled her eyes, and said, "How much does it cost? I'll just replace it," in this angry, dismissive tone. She has a very defensive and confrontational nature that makes me feel bullied and small, so I find it hard to stand up to her. But it's not just about the money. It's about trust, respect, and about losing something deeply personal to me. Since then, she hasn't apologized at all. In fact, she's acting annoyed that I'm upset. Now we're on the last night of our trip, and I've decided to just be neutral and quiet for the journey home. But once we're back, I plan to stop speaking to her entirely. I feel like she violated my boundaries, disrespected my belongings, and is now making me feel like I'm too sensitive for being hurt. But some mutual friends are already making me feel like I'm being dramatic and should let it go because it's just a bag. So am I the a-hole for cutting her off and refusing to speak to her after this? Absolutely not.
No.
There are some comments. Comment number 1 says, she's not a friend. She also needs to pay you back for the purse. She stole it, actually, so she's a thief. So your choice on how to handle that going forward, not the a-hole. Opie says she agrees to reimburse me, which I accepted, but I haven't spoken with her further about it as I've been too upset to look up the cost of the purse. And also, I haven't told her the amount that was in the purse. I plan to do so in 2 days' time, where I will post the update after I discuss with her my true feelings about this. Comment 2 says, not the a-hole. I don't know why you say you weren't angry, just hurt. I'd be furious as well as hurt. She stole from you. She violated your trust. She's deflecting as if you're the one making a big deal about it, as if what she took was a candy bar and not an expensive bag costing hundreds of dollars or euros, as well as a bunch of cash. Why would you want to stay friends with someone who would do that? If she won't pay you back in cash for the money and the bag, I'd post this all over social media with her name attached as a warning to others because I doubt a police report will get you anywhere at this point. Opie says, I agree, but getting angry with a girl like her, it doesn't work. It only invigorates her, it seems. I am genuinely heartbroken as this has huge sentimental value. But also the amount of money in it may not be large to most, but is a lot to a student nurse in college whose parents are not wealthy enough to support my college fees and living expenses like hers are. When I receive nice things, I aim to keep them for a long time. She just lost my belongings like it was nothing and never apologized. We do have an update. On the flight home, she asked me to mind her passport in my bag, even though she had her own backpack. I agreed just to keep the peace because I didn't want to deal with any attitude or fighting. When we landed, she turned to me and asked, "Do you have my passport?" in a snappy tone. I was still hurt and wanted to get one last jab in, so I said, using the exact words she said to me all week about missing my purse, "I was checking my bag the whole time to make sure your passport was there, but maybe it'll show up when we get off the plane." I regretted saying it immediately. She snapped in front of other passengers, finally acknowledging that I had been upset about the purse, but in the most cruel and dismissive way. She said, "Well, at least I didn't throw a hissy fit, bawling, crying for hours over a purse." That was the last straw. She acknowledged my obvious upset, yet still would not apologize. Once we got our bags at the airport, I told her I wanted to check her suitcase for my purse. Good. I said if she refused, I'd involve the police. She tried to say I was violating her privacy, which is hilarious considering she took my purse and went through my belongings. I told her if it wasn't there, then she had nothing to be worried about. I also made it clear that I wasn't going to touch any of her stuff and that I wasn't interested in taking other people's belongings without permission, just checking for what is mine. She was absolutely fuming, face red, shaking, visibly furious. Then she shoved her bag at me and told me to go ahead. I opened a zipped compartment. Inside was a black trash bag. Inside that was a red Target bag. Inside that, drum roll, my purse.
She never lost it.
I knew it.
She stole it.
Oh my gosh, I knew it. I was thinking that she like stole the purse and that's why she lost it. But what confused me was the fact that she was so willing to like pay for it again. So I was like, why would you steal it if you're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she stole it.
You little thief.
Oh my gosh. All of the money was still inside, the cash, the euro coins, but no quarters. I was honestly so shocked I couldn't even ask why she had it or what her plan was. I just said, thanks, and walked away with my stuff. I got on the bus home and haven't spoken to her since. I wish I hadn't been so emotionally drained to have given her a piece of my mind. She's since blocked me with no apology or explanation. As a side note, her mom, who doesn't know we're not speaking, called me at 3 a.m. crying. This mom was saying how badly she feels treated by her daughter, her husband, and how she's constantly belittled.
Why is she calling you at 3 in the morning?
Why is this mom talking to you, a 21-year-old, about how bad you're treated by her daughter?
Weird.
What? I won't get into any of what had just happened, but it definitely gave me more perspective. This is a cruel girl and horrendous person with little to no empathy, and I think maybe a sociopath. And by the way, this girl is going to tell you to go to iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is to search OK Storytime, because you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one. And there is a little bit more to this story, but my goodness, this girl.
Ooh-wee, this girl.
I'm so glad that she got her purse back.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, she did confront her.
Yeah.
And got it back. It wasn't just that she had to be mad at her for stealing it or something. Mm-hmm. She got it back, and now she's not friends with her anymore.
I would be sending a picture of the bag to all of the friends that said get over it and say, hey, she had it.
She had it in her bag.
She's
hidden
was trying to steal it.
Hidden within 2 other bags.
Yeah, so she definitely knew that she had it.
Yeah. Anyway, I got my purse back, but the whole thing left a really bad taste in my mouth. I still don't fully understand what she was trying to do, and honestly, I don't think I want to. I'm just relieved it's over. What do you guys think she was aiming to do with the purse? Very little of my money inside was used. So strange. And there is an edit.
She stole it for the coins for the laundromat.
Just for the coins, and then decided to keep the purse on the way.
I mean, well, this is kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, if it was an expensive purse, I'm thinking that she just wanted it.
Yeah.
That's all. And she was going to use the money later. 'Cause she knows she had it. She didn't need to spend it right away.
Mm-mm.
But there is a little edit. I didn't realize this would gain so much traction so quickly. Thank you to everybody. Also, she chronically watches YouTube videos where they review Reddit stories like this one. I'm just laughing thinking about if this came up. I feel like she's so self-absorbed that she would not clock that it's about her. And there are some comments. Why haven't you told your friends and her mom about what happened? It's like you want her to rewrite the story to make you the villain. OP says, my friends are aware, and my entire family. They told me they are disgraced by her behavior and to cut off contact with her. The friends on vacation, however, whether they sided with her or were actually too afraid to side with me, I'm not sure. I haven't reached out to them, and from advice from the previous post, I'm not going to continue my relationships with them. I can't be friends with someone who is too weak to stand up for me. Her mother was drinking and driving and in a bad spot, so I felt that it was not the right time to bring up the situation as she was very upset.
Also, why would you? I don't even think you need to tell her mom. What relationship do you have with her mom?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, if the mom is calling OP at 3 a.m.
She's clearly unhinged.
Yeah, so there's no reason. She knows that her daughter is not a good person.
Yeah,
so.
And also she doesn't seem like that great of a person if she's drinking and driving and calling you at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
a random 21-year-old.
Right.
Like, clearly something's going on there.
Comment number 2 says, what's the resale value on that purse? My first thought was that she was trying to sell it. OP says between 220 to 350 euros. Comment number 3 says, glad you forced her to open her bag at the airport with security around. Only thing I would have done is lost her passport and snuck it into her bag and let her run around trying to find it. OP says, haha, my father told me that I should have effed it in the bin. And that's all that we have in that story.
All she wrote.
Yeah, honestly, that commenter's idea of it is kind of funny because I was thinking like, oh, I lost your passport.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but like she does really need that.
Yeah.
But then putting it in her bag is kind of, that's a great way to do it.
It just causes her worry, but then she still has
Exactly. You have it, and now you have to rummage through your whole bag and around my bag.
Yeah.
That's in your bag.
Yeah.
And then find it.
And then you have to reveal that you've stolen the bag.
She could have done it if she was opening her bag to get her own little purse, and then she could have easily just
snuck it in.
Whatever. I don't think she did that. But anyway, that's the end of that story. We've got another one coming right up.
My friend cut me off after my pregnancy reveal. Now she wants me back?
Too little, too late, my friend.
So to start off, me and this woman met in middle school when I transferred to the school she went to, and we have been really good friends up until the most recent years. We are both 39 female. She and I both were kind of outsiders and did not fit in too well with other groups, so we stuck together like glue. By the way, this comes from Skibney. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
And OP says, her parents passed when she was young and she had no siblings. So I admit now she may have felt closer to me than I did to her, since I had a lot of friends back in my old school that I still talk to. Over a year back, I became pregnant with my and my husband's firstborn daughter. She is truly everything we could have asked for, quite literally perfect. We've been married since we were 25 and had no plans to have children initially, but with my 40s coming up, he and I had a talk and decided that maybe one would not hurt. We absolutely love her and are also so happy to be one and done. We are at a great point in our careers and have honestly spoiled this baby. My friend, let's call her Anna, has been married with her husband since she was 28, and they've been trying for a baby since she turned 30. They started IVF when she was 32, as they are also both well off, and fertility experts explained she would have a hard time getting pregnant. She knew I was not really planning on a child, and we never really spoke about her TTC journey because that is something deeply personal, and I never did any prying. She seemed happy to never bring it up, and when she did talk about it, she would have a sad look, so I figured it was best that way. By the point we decided to try for a baby, I tried to keep it just to me and my husband. I did not tell her, just me and my husband knew. I did not even tell my own mom or sister, who I would argue I'm closer with. At the time, I felt she did not need a heads up because we just didn't want to tell anybody. Honestly, I wasn't really even thinking about her TTC journey, as she rarely talks about it. I did not think I owed it to her to tell her just because she is TTC. We really wanted to just keep it between us. Soon after, about 2 months later, I got pregnant. When the baby reached 20 weeks, this is when we announced to everyone. A little late into it, and the suspense was unaliving us, but we decided it was best since my mother has a bad history. Because of the situation, I decided to meet up with her before our reveal, since I planned to invite her and didn't want her to be blindsided. Since we were actually finally telling people, I thought it was right. As I told her, her face kind of fell, and I asked what was wrong. She asked a few questions like, when did I start? How long did it take? I answered, but then asked how she felt. She got really angry and upset and said I was gross for telling her something this late and that I was pregnant every time we hung out, which made her deeply uncomfortable. She explained her clock is running out and said it was wrong of me to rub my pregnancy in her face. She said she wished I told her before we got pregnant that we were trying so she would know to stay away for her own peace.
Oh my gosh.
She called me a really big witch and not a true friend. I told her she's been peaceful because she did not get queasy seeing me since she didn't know. I said it was weird that instead of being happy for me, she was doing this instead. We went back and forth with her continuing to call me rude names. I admit I got really mad at being called those things, and the hormones didn't help either. I told her she didn't have to worry about her clock running out because her crap wasn't even ticking. As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt regret. Yeah. Ouch.
Yep.
She stared at me blankly, so I decided to apologize and left without waiting for a reply. I got home and decided to text her, but found out she had actually blocked me everywhere. The anger was still fresh, so I didn't try to reach out again. I figured it would be fine because I have my village. I did not need her or her negativity impacting and stressing me out. I didn't want to walk on eggshells. I did miss her a lot, but what she said kept ringing in my ears. Strangely, I got a text from an unknown number a few days ago. It was Anna. She was texting me asking to meet up and that she had something she wanted to talk about. I told her I didn't want to meet up and that she could say it right then. She told me she was pregnant and was hoping we could possibly rekindle. She explained that when she finally was able to get pregnant, she thought about me immediately and felt guilt for what went down. She said she was around 25 weeks and had pondered a long time if she should reach out to me. She admitted she did not really understand things at the time and had building resentment towards pregnant people from her journey. She said the fact that I didn't want any kids but got to have one before her when she wanted multiple really stung that day. She said she wanted our kids to grow up together and be best friends. I texted her back and said it was weird of her to fantasize about my baby being friends with hers when we're not friends. I reminded her that for literally the entirety of our friendship, she knew I was child-free up until the end, where she decided to crash and burn everything we had. I told her she should have had decorum that day. She was allowed to be sad at my pregnancy, but blowing up at me was insane. I said the same way she would have appreciated being told early, I would have appreciated some kindness and maybe a congrats, but I did not get that. I said it was weird of her to text me now, hoping for me to be happy for her. Oh, and the worst part is, I was happy for her. I told her something in the back of my mind still missed her, and I was ready to let it go after this, and I wished her a safe pregnancy, something she could not muster up for me. After this, she sent me a long text saying I was the only real friend she had, and that she would have nobody else to celebrate with other than her husband's family and her coworkers. I told her we were not friends anymore and blocked her. Ouch, this is
Dang.
tragic.
Yeah.
It's like childhood friend.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, you cut her off for reasonable, things.
Right.
But, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of sucks.
That does kind of suck because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would be good to voice your opinion like this because, like,
Yeah.
I've been in a situation where, like, I stopped being friends with someone and then they apologized afterwards and then, like, I still had a lot of things to say to them.
Yeah.
But I kind of was just like, oh, well, that was a nice apology. So, like, maybe we can be friends again. But then
Yeah.
it didn't feel right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I like that she was able to say these things.
Mm-hmm. She had this kind of closure. She had this moment where
Yeah.
she was offered the friendship and she was like, you know what? I'm
Right.
not, I
Right.
appreciate it, but I'm happy
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Can't go back. Since then, my husband actually received a text from her husband asking if he could convince me to reconcile because Anna was in shambles and he didn't want her to have so much stress during her very hard to achieve pregnancy. My husband is saying I should just make friends for her sake at least, and that maybe it will be like it used to be. By the way, for our sake, we would love for you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
That's right.
There is a little bit left to the story. Any
Yeah.
final thoughts?
I think I would hear her out and I would at least be
Yeah.
open to forgiving her. I feel like
Mhm.
it wouldn't be
Would it be the same?
wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't block her, I think.
Yeah. I feel like that. I don't know. It feels like you both were going through something
Yeah.
and she kind of lashed out in a really awful way and you were very right in reacting the way you did after.
Right.
But it seems like, she's kind of had that realization.
Yeah.
But you don't owe it to her.
Right.
She did hurt you.
Right. It's very
So-
possible for it to be the kind of thing where, like, later down the line, if you wish that you were friends
Yeah.
with her or you were mad that you're not friends anymore, then you
Could
can't-
reevaluate.
you can't really, like, be super mad at her for, like, throwing it all away.
Yeah.
When it's like, okay, well, she messed up.
Yeah.
in the end, but you could still have a friendship and you could still do something about that.
Yeah.
It's not away forever.
I told him it has been a year since she reached out to me last, and if she's willing to toss decades of friendship away for a year consistently without reaching out until she got pregnant, then maybe she did not deserve me anyway. He still thinks I'm being cold and said, it is hard to believe we were even friends with how my attitude about her is. Am I the a-hole? Should I unblock and maybe work it out? And edit, despite the comments saying not the a-hole, I did get a long DM from someone. To keep a long story short, I believe I could be an a-hole because I said something very nasty to her. Yes. And the argument we had could have been avoided if I had just told her what was going on. The person explained people that are TTCs sometimes need to mute others for their own well-being. I may have been selfish by not telling her and by saying that as well as not inquiring more about her struggles. This has opened my eyes a bit more, but I am still very much on the fence about letting her back into my life. Not even because of my husband, but because I do miss her. Comment 1, kind of weird your husband cares more about someone who hurt you than his own wife. I disagree with that. I think that he cares a lot about his wife, which is why he's bringing that up.
Yeah.
OP says my husband is very good friends with her husband. That is why. He also thinks we're both overreacting and that her grief and my hormones made us say mean things to each other. We really did used to be very good friends, and he finds it out of character, which it is. I'm not going to defend her, but this is the first time she's ever done something like that. He also sees that I do actually miss her, and I have pretty petty, spiteful side to me. That was apparent. And he thinks that is why I don't want to reconcile. She also doesn't really have anyone else, and it sucks because while she may have money to buy her baby anything, nothing beats having a strong village to help you, and she won't have that with another woman her age unless she makes up with me, but I'm reluctant. Reply says, you miss the friend she used to be. Comment 2 says, I understand where you're coming from. Your post initially made it seem like you were not supportive or avoided discussing her struggles, but I see you do understand the situation. While her behavior was extremely hurtful and inexcusable, fertility treatments are invasive and mentally draining. The hormones, repeated failures, and watching others get pregnant easily can lead to depression and bitterness that clouds judgment. This does not excuse treating people poorly, but people sometimes fall into holes they cannot climb out of alone, and it sounds like she genuinely regretted her reaction. Given your long friendship, ask yourself, is your life better without her? Do you miss the friendship? Would you want your kids to be close someday? The real question is what you want to do moving forward. Some people find hate easy and forgiveness hard. I am the opposite. Forgiveness comes easier to me than holding grudges, which I find draining. What matters is what feels right for you and this specific situation. That was a good comment.
Yeah,
I agree with that comment. OP says, I do not know what I want. If she had just been upset or asked for space, that would be different. But she called me a witch, a bad friend, and other words that get flagged. She knows name calling is something I find really low. And in response, none of that is excusable, but in response, you did bring up one of her deepest insecurities.
Right.
So,
hard.
You guys both said some things that I'm sure you did not mean.
Yeah, exactly.
She also went on about her biological clock, and I wrongly assumed that did not apply to her since she was doing fertility treatments. After my own difficult pregnancy, I realized being 25 would have made things easier. It's not just about egg counts. Living without her this year has been hard. I have had lows where I wish she was around, not just to talk, but to laugh until I cried. The kind of laughter that might have sent me into labor if we were still close. I wanted her planning my baby shower and being my baby's auntie. Maybe being pregnant made it feel worse than it was. It felt like she unalived my dog or something. I still feel that sting, but wonder if what she said was actually that wrong, or if I was just hormonal. I also do not know if she genuinely wants to reconnect, or if she is being hormonal too. I do not want to be hurt like that again. That day, she felt like a different person I did not know anymore. I'm not sure I want to get to know her again. I think you do.
Right? Yeah, I feel like she does too.
I think you said all of that, and underneath all of it was, I miss her.
Yeah, because hear her out, again, it's not going to jump into what it was before.
No, it shouldn't.
Right. And you were mad at her for saying those things. I mean, that's what happened with my friend. I was kind of mad, about a few things, but then there was, name calling at the end of it. That was, the final straw, and I was like, okay, no. But, listen to what they have to say and see what she'll do if she'll put any actions forth that will make things up. Make up for it.
See if she follows through.
Yeah, exactly.
But, don't give up on a friendship that you miss.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
I refuse to condone my cheating friend. Now she won't talk to me.
Talk to me, please.
My best friend and I have had falling outs before, but I think it's for real this time. I, 28 female, have been besties with Marie, 29 female, since my first year of college when I met her at a job waiting table. We clicked instantly and were joined at the hip for a couple of years until she made things a little awkward by moving out of state, literally in the middle of the night, when she committed to signing a lease with me and another college friend. By the way, this comes from Alternative Fancy 9625, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And OP says she never apologized for the inconvenience it caused all of us and moved back home after a couple months, starting our friendship back up like nothing happened. Soon after this, I had to move across the country because of a family emergency and didn't move back to town Marie was in after the emergency subsided. Most of my family lives there, so I continue to see her frequently, though. We kept in touch over the phone and talked every day, even with me so far away. Marie travels a lot for pleasure, but has never made a trip specifically to see me since I moved. Marie made a trip 5 hours away from me with her mom twice that I was invited to drive over for, but she's never actually bothered to come see me, citing that she has money troubles and no time. Although she goes on 4 or more leisure trips a year, some being multi-day music festivals. I only bring this up as a singular example, it gets worse, to show that our friendship has always been 90% effort from me, 10% from her. But it's always been worth it for me because we have a ton of fun. I'm close with her family and vice versa, and she knows everything about me. I moved a lot as a kid, so Marie is one of the longest standing friendships I've ever had, and I didn't mind working for it. Lately, Marie has been making some questionable decisions that have shaken me a bit as her friend because they really bring her character into question. When we met, Marie was dating Alex, 31 male, and it was a bad relationship, ending with him cheating. Marie got into a relationship immediately after with Paul, 29 male, who she just broke up with after dating for 10 years. Oh, wow. Paul was never meant for Marie, I think, but she stuck with him for 10 years despite her frustrations with supporting him financially, as well as other issues. All fine, but she just ended their relationship with her cheating. Oh, wow. Oh, for the second time that I know of. Over the years, we've both been cheated on, and we talked pretty adamantly about how we both are disgusted by cheating and would never do it. So imagine my shock when last year Marie told me that she cheated on Paul with a random guy she met through work. It startled me because I would have never thought she'd do something like that. It put a bit of a wrench in our relationship because I'm an incredibly honest person and told her how wrong I thought that was. We reconciled soon after, but I made it clear that I didn't support what she had done and thought that she should break up with Paul because cheating is the end of a relationship, in my opinion. She didn't break up with him and waited to even tell him what she'd done because she needed him to be a dog sitter for a couple of months while she traveled. Flash forward to a couple of weeks ago. She's on a business trip out of state and sends me a photo of her unclothed in bed with a guy who's not Paul, stating that she cheated on him for 5 days straight with her high school ex, John, 32 male, because of a, quote, long layover. Okay, already bad, and I told her so. She gets home from her trip and finally dumps Paul, not telling him about the cheating this time. I guess Paul was suspicious after the random guy last year, so he goes through her phone in the middle of the night and sees years of texts and photos to and from John, which Marie didn't even tell me about until slipping up and mentioning that Paul had this, quote, narrative that she'd been emotionally cheating or worse for years. Marie admits that she's been talking to her ex, John, for years, but doesn't see it as cheating, even though she concedes that she was leaving the door open. Oh my gosh. That is, yeah.
It's just cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. This narrative. Oh yeah, Paul and his narrative.
Yeah, Paul's got all these narratives about me cheating.
Right. It's like, well, it's a nonfiction book, girl.
Yeah, this is just an autobiography.
My goodness. Worst of all, she sees herself as the victim in all of this because Paul freaked out and started overreacting when he found out, throwing her stuff in the yard and calling her names. I don't care for Paul much, but I feel his reaction was entirely justified for a person that found out his partner over 10 years might have been cheating on him the whole time, especially when he's been talking about marriage the past couple of years. The worst of it all came when Marie told me that she was planning on moving to the state that John lives in, not for him, but to, quote, work on herself in a state with low cost of living. I panicked. I sent her a message telling her that she was about to make the worst mistake of her life and that I was baffled that she would do any of this at all because I truly thought it was outside of her character and that last year was a one-time mistake. I laid it all out and told her to move anywhere else, even telling her that she could come live on my couch for a while until we figure out things for her. I had been looking for places for her in state and in the state that her mom lives in for a couple days prior to Paul punting her out, as well as seeing what I could do about getting her a car and storage unit for her things from afar. I have a huge email of resources compiled for her on top of what I've already sent her, but it's sitting in my drafts because she started ignoring me the day I told her that she was making a mistake and that I couldn't believe she's been silently cheating for years. She ignores me for a couple of days, which is crazy for our friendship because she sends me hours of videos a day just chatting about her day or what's going on.
She also literally sent you pictures of her cheating.
Literally. And I finally sent her a message along the lines of, Marie, please tell me you are not throwing away a decade of friendship because I was brutally honest with you. She sends me a short message back saying that she's not mad that I was honest, but that I went on a, quote, morality crusade when she just needs support.
No. Honestly, you need to throw away decades of friendship, OP, because this isn't your friend anymore.
No.
And this isn't like a couple mistakes, you know, where like you could perhaps forgive and they're truly remorseful.
Right.
And you're like, you know what, you're my friend.
Exactly.
You made a mistake.
Right.
I don't support it, but I love you. This is years maybe of this behavior. At that point, it's like this shouldn't be your friend.
Right.
If you disagree with her morally, you know, and what she's been doing, then you just disagree with her.
Right.
And like you can't be friends with that type of person.
Yeah, especially too when you said earlier in the story that the whole friendship has been 90% effort from you, 10% from her. It's like, what are you
saving?
Yeah, exactly. And she said that if I'm unhappy with her character, then we don't have to be friends. She ends the message stating that she doesn't have energy for our friendship if I won't support her. This is where I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. I feel that I have been supporting her. I've been a sounding board for her to vent to. I've spent hours and recruited my family to help me find her a short-term place to live and more long-term options going forward. And I've put so much energy into helping her through her troubles, even if I don't agree with the decisions that she's making. I didn't even give her a hard time about the cheating this time until she admitted that they'd been emotionally cheating for years and that she'd planned on moving in with him. Then I went into BFF protective mode. I think it's insane for her to say that she has no energy for our friendship when she seldom put any in it in the first place, even if I was brutally honest about her doing filth-tastic things. I believe I might have, at points, sounded like I was morally punishing her, but I felt I needed to stress how much she was ruining her character by continuing to make these horrible decisions.
At a certain point, that is their character.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really try to tell them to change if this is just kind of who they are.
At a certain point, we've ship of Theseus her character.
Yeah.
And this is just her character now.
Yeah, exactly. She makes horrible decisions and that she affects others by doing them too because she's put me into a bad mental space where I feel that I don't know the person I've been friends with for 10 years. I sent her a long message back that I support her 1000%, and I think I've proved that over the years while sticking with her when she did other filth-tastic stuff, but that I would be a bad friend if I wasn't honest with her like I was. She's left me undelivered for days now and made us lose a nearly 1K long snap streak, which had always been weirdly important to her. Not the snap streak. But something that would be weirdly important to me is if you went to find full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, just search OK Storytime.
That's not weird to me.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
It's pretty normal.
Thanks for supporting me, Sophia.
Of course, always.
There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah,
you gotta end this.
You gotta end this. What you're saying to her is true.
Mm-hmm.
If you really wanted to say these things to get it off your chest and stuff, I think that's good that you have, but I wouldn't expect anything from it.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely not.
She doesn't feel bad.
She doesn't feel bad. She wants you to support her and not go on a morality crusade, which means that she just wants validation from you. She doesn't want, supporting her would be like, oh, if she felt really bad about it and you're still like shaming her for it or whatever.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, you know what? She's never done. Like, she did it once, never
Right.
did it again, feels terrible, already admitted, blah, blah, blah. I'd
then
be like,
I'll
okay.
be there for her. Right.
But
She's not.
she doesn't feel bad.
And she's saying that she doesn't have the energy for the friendship. It's like, you're not even really getting anything from her in
you've
return
never had the
anyway.
energy.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like she just wants a hype man to tell her that what she did was fine, not an honest friend. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind being the mean friend if it means that I'm doing everything I can to save my buddies, and she's never had an issue with that in a decade. Only now when she's done the scummiest thing that I can imagine her doing. I don't want to lose her as a friend, but this feels pretty dire, especially when the ball is in her court now and she's never wanted to put effort in, even when things are good. Help me, Reddit. Should I give it space and just accept the loss of a friend if she doesn't care to help remedy things? Or am I the a-hole with a superiority complex like she thinks? Should I apologize? And that's the end of that story.
And there you go.
Yeah, I think no. I mean,
Don't apologize. What do
think-
you have to apologize for?
right. It's like if you were being overly harsh or something like that, then like I guess, sure.
I honestly think she deserves more harshness.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Maybe.
not a good person.
Yeah, it seems like it. So I don't think there's anything wrong that you're doing. You're saying that you support
Agreed.
her. You're
Yeah.
saying that you are there for her. And you're saying like, yeah, no, you effed up.
Yep.
And you're just mad at her for that. I feel like
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
I agree.
Totally fine.
Lose this person as a friend. She's not a good
Yes.
friend.
Do it. But that's the end of that story and the end of the episode. Yes, it is. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
and
see
see
you
you tomorrow.